to the fun part. At least I hope it's the fun part. Let me get my ham. You can keep that trained over there. If I can find my ham. Okay, so for this, we're gonna need fresh garlic. I will say this, if you don't have fresh garlic, no big deal. Just use powdered garlic if you have that. But I would suggest getting garlic. You're gonna need Parmesan cheese. It doesn't have to be special extra whatever. It can just be plain Parmesan, grated from Paris Teeter. But I would not use the canned Kraft kind of shake Parmesan. I'm not really sure the consistency of that and if it will work. It might, but I'm not totally convinced. So this is your safe bet. And you can use cream, heavy cream or light cream. If you don't have cream, you can do the same with milk, but it's tougher to do it with milk, and you're going to have to build it up with some flour and basically create a roux. But we can do that at a later time if that's a need. Otherwise, if you can, let's go with the heavy cream. So from here, let's get our pans going. I'm not going to do these at the same time. I'm going to just do them back to back. But I'm going to use some way to handle my chicken. Now, my tongs from earlier, I'm going to throw into the sink because they were handling raw chicken. I'm going to grab some clean tongs, or I will clean those tongs if I don't have clean tongs. And I will cut up my chicken. Now, this piece of chicken had a little bit of a fat cluster over here. I'm going to cut this off. And because I want the size. Now look, here's the thing. If we find when we get in here that this chicken is not as absolutely done as we thought, not a big deal, because we're still going to cook it a little bit anyway. Okay, this is still hot. This is not exactly fun. You get a better knife. And I'm being careful to keep my hand out of the way there if you can't see it. All right, I'm just going to dice this up. See, like, it's really tough chicken. Might be having the ham with you, sweetie. Okay, we're just going to cut this into cubes. Turn this down a little bit because I'm taking longer than I thought I would. All right, so we got the cube chicken. Let me wash my hands. And since all this is going in the same pot, I really don't care if I transfer over. I'm going to use this same cutting board for my garlic. If you've never cut up garlic before, it might seem difficult. I'm going to rinse this off, get some of the chicken bits off. The way to do garlic, take a knife. Actually, you can do it with your hand. You can just press down. What I learned in the restaurant business is press down with the heel of the knife, cracks it, smushes it, gets that paper clean off. Okay, we're going to do this for these three. You probably don't need 3 cloves. Probably for, if you're cooking for 2, maybe it's 1 clove of garlic. And garlic lasts a pretty long time, but it doesn't last forever. So like the parsley, if you think you're going to lose it before you get to it, go ahead and cut it up, put it in some oil, and put it in the refrigerator, and it will keep for a long time. Okay, again, knuckles as guides. We're going to cut this stuff up. Okay, clearing your knife like I'm doing it with my finger is something you have to learn to do. It's an easy way to cut yourself if you don't know what you're doing, so I would just say be careful doing that. A lot of people will just use the side of a cutting board to do it safely. There's nothing wrong with that. It's probably the smarter thing to do. I should probably do that. I don't. So, little pro tip. The more you mince garlic, the more garlic taste you'll get out of it, meaning in your sauce. The less garlic taste you'll get in an individual. You won't ever actually hit a piece, but it's going to disperse a lot differently. So, trying to be a smart guy. All right. And I'm going to split that in half. Half for ham, half for chicken. Okay. So, I've got my pan going. It got too hot because I was talking too long. I'm going to let that cool off. We'll go with this pan. Okay. So, this will be our chicken, I guess. In the meantime, I'm going to open this guy. Now, I use fresh black pepper. You don't have to use fresh black pepper. I also like to use, my wife especially likes to have peas in it, which is kind of nice. It's really colorful. It looks good. We'll just use frozen peas, throw them in at the end, and it's a nice color look. Kind of springs it up. It's not necessary, but I understand that it's very common in Italy. Correct? My wife is nodding. So, got a little bit of oil in here. Okay. If you notice, I always get my pan heated up before I throw in oil. The reason why is because that's what heating it up lets the metal actually form a seal, and it shouldn't stick as bad. It still might stick. I don't know if I let it heat up enough. All right. Now with garlic, you want to be very careful to not overheat it because burned garlic is really not a good taste. Also, traditionally, Alfredo will use butter. I use olive oil, but you can certainly use butter. Just be careful you don't let it scorch. Scorch is when butter burns and turns brown. That's why I don't use it, because it's just easier to scorch. All right. So, with anything cooking, first thing we do, we season it. This is salt. I'm doing that amount. I'm assuming it's good, and I'm going to hit it with my cracked black pepper. Again, if you're not a cracked black pepper fan, don't use it. You don't have to. All right, and see what I might do, just for fun, some of that juice from my chicken before, I might add that in there just for some flavor. Okay, that effectively becomes a chicken stock. So we've got our garlic, we've got our chicken, and now we're going to hit it with cream. Okay. And this is about half of this thing, maybe a little bit more, that I just threw in there. And we want to keep that heat going. Now this is going to have our parsley in it, but we're going to put that in closer to the end because we don't want that color to change. So as that's going, we're going to wait for it to start to boil. If you want to come over here and look, you'll see that around the edges it's starting to boil. I'm going to add a little bit here, but we're going to probably put about, I'm going to have to guess, we're going to put about a cup of this in. It's probably a good amount. I'd say half of this bag is going to go in here. This is not exactly what I would categorize as healthy food. That's good. All right. We want to make sure we're mixing that around. And as this comes to a boil, you're going to start to see it really, what I call, tighten up. It's going to thicken up. It's the boiling of the cream, and also it's the melting of the cheese that's going to do that. Let that go a minute. You can't walk away from this. You got to stay with it. If you walk away and just let it boil, what's going to happen? It's going to break. So the fats in the cream, the fat from the oil, even the fat from the cheese is going to separate out from the rest, and it's going to become something that you're not going to want to eat. It's going to look gross. It'll look like a yellow oil slick on top of this white kind of curdly thing. It's not tasty. More so, it's just gross looking. So here we are. If you notice, this is thickened up. And we want to do this until that cheese becomes not really recognizable as cheese, but part of the sauce. And we're pretty much there. I don't know if you guys can see that. If you ever want to thicken it up more, you can go with less cream. You can also, if you want, you can put in a little sprinkle of flour. Both of those will do. The flour, though, if you do it, you're going to have to cook it a little bit with the flour in it. You can't just put in raw flour and let it go. I'm going to hit it one more shot of cheese. I feel like this is a little bit light. But you can kind of see the thickness. Do you agree it's thick?
Yeah.
So nod. Okay. Now, like I said, I'm doing another one next door here. I'm going to be doing ham. I'm going to throw my pasta in. Whoops, sorry. And if you see clumps like this, I'd say go ahead and get rid of them. I'm going to kill my heat. And if you're on an electric burner and that heat's going to continue for a while, maybe think about moving it to something that's not, to a burner that's not hot. Because what you don't want to do at this point is let it go over and break, like I said. That's just really unattractive. All right, I think we got enough pasta in there. Stay in there, my friend. And let's hit it with our parsley. Okay, and I would try this. If you're not comfortable with that, no problem. We have some clean tongs over here. All you're doing is you're reaching in and you're twisting it around. Okay, and there is your chicken Alfredo. Feels Alfredo-y. You want to keep it rolling while I do ham?
Sure.
Or you want to kill? Actually, I'm going to hit with a little punch of salt. Get in here. Get in here. Okay. Here, why don't we plate this up? What do you think, Beck?
Sure.
Put it up for the kids, or just put it all on one plate? Plate it up for the kids, right? Let me do this. All right. So plating, I would grab, because it would be easier to grab your pasta out and then grab some, go back for some chicken. And I'm all about the presentation. I'm gonna wipe down the side there, and there you go. That's for my little girl, so I don't think she's gonna eat a ton. And go ahead and get this going so I can make that ham for my wife. Do we want to do peas for the ham?
Sounds good.
All right, do you want to, I'll grab them if I can find them. So we're going to do our ham variant. It's the same thing, no real change. This is actually what I grew up making. Well, when I was cooking 25 years ago, this is what we made. We do it with ham. So that's kind of fun to me. But I might still use the same stuff. If you don't have something like this, you can use like a little splash of water. Just be careful with water with hot oil, but you can use a splash of water for that. Or chicken stock if you have it. That works great. And just like before, we're gonna season this. That's my salt. I'm learning my lesson from last time, a little bit more salt. You notice too, this is a non-stick pan, this is a stainless pan. There's no real difference in how I'm treating them. I just wouldn't put anything metal against the bottom of this without kind of thinking or being conscious of not hitting and scratching at the bottom. Although I would not say this is like in prime condition, so, but just wanted to make sure there was no confusion that that was making a big difference. So like before, we're going to let that come to a boil. Again, I'm second thinking my cheese amount. This is a lot thicker. actually finish that off. Yeah, might as well. So you can see, if you come over real close, you can see how thick this has already gotten. Okay, and this is without throwing the pasta in yet. Now, crazy as it might seem, the pasta actually does help it thicken up too, because pasta still leaches some of its starch, and so it's another reason why you don't want to really wash that off, that pasta, when you take it off. And just like last time, once we get to this point, let's go ahead and take off the heat. Okay. See if I can get a flip going here. A little bit better. And I don't mind sharing between the two friends here. And there is our ham edition. We tried to do peas. We didn't have peas in the freezer, so sorry. This is how it is. So hopefully you enjoyed this little tour of Adam making Alfredo. Thanks for tuning in.